Come down onto your back in constructive rest pose to begin. Lying with the knees bent, the feet on the floor in line with the sit bones. Arms wider than the mat, palms turned up. Take a moment to arrive. Let the body sink down into the floor. Notice all the points where you're in touch with the floor. Relax all excess effort, just letting the bones settle down. The muscles do as little as possible, settling into gravity's pull. Now please remember as we go into the inner core engagements that the transversus abdominis, that foundation of your core, is very deep, that it's under two other layers of abdominal muscles. So when we think about the belt, I want you to really imagine it deep inside. Think inside the skin, inside any fat, inside two layers of muscle. That's how deep we need to go. So think of it way down at the bone and organ level. Now imagine that deep belt of muscular support that you have moving horizontally around the whole torso. Essentially, wherever there's no bones, there's transversus muscle moving all the way back to the spine and coming all the way up to the sternum and as low as the pubic bone. We'll concentrate on the area in the pelvic girdle and around the lower torso. So we're in the lumbar region. Take an inhale and picture that deep belt of support. As you exhale, feel the the horizontal fibers snugging around your core. Relax the shoulders as you do that. Try to see if you can do it without squeezing the buttocks. And then soften. Now we'll bring the attention to the pelvic floor, the other part of the inner core. Picture the diamond anchored on the tailbone, the two sit bones, the pubic bone. And as you exhale, gather the diamond in towards the center. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, the buttocks relaxed, face relaxed, and release that effort. Return your attention to the belt of the transversus again. Inhale, picture those horizontal fibers. And exhale, gather them around snugly. Picture a low hip hugger belt and put it around and buckle it beneath the belly button. And then relax that. And return your attention to the pelvic floor. And with the exhale, draw those 4 points towards each other, towards the center of the perineum. Squeeze towards the center, engage the sphincters, and then relax. These two groups of muscles, the transversus and the pelvic floor muscles, are postural. They don't affect a change in the posture. You can use them in any position. So as we do these engagements, we're maintaining our neutral pelvis and neutral spine. One more time. Inhale, prepare, picturing that transversus abdominis wrapping around you horizontally. And on your exhale, keep it deep as you snug it around. And then relax it. And return your attention to the pelvic diamond and draw those 4 points into the center. Lift the perineum, squeeze on the sphincters. And release. And take a complete release into gravity for a moment. Relax completely. And now we'll do the inner core together. Inhale, prepare for the inner core. We'll start with the pelvic floor. Exhale, engage the pelvic diamond. Gather the transversus abdominis belt. Maintain as you take a breath. Your breath may be a little higher in your chest than usual, that's fine. With the exhale, renew the inner core, and then relax it. Bring the arms in closer to the sides, and we'll use the inner core to stabilize the neutral spine. We're not engaging the obliques yet, so your rib cage may be moving. It may be flaring out in the front and pulling away from the mat in the back. That's fine for now. Let's focus on the inner core. Stabilizing the neutral lower back curve, the neutral pelvis. Inhale, bring the arms straight up to vertical. Exhale, engage the inner core and reach the arms back. You can bend the elbows for now and notice how the rib cage may move, but your lower back stays steady. Inhale, bring the arms up to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, bring the arms down and soften completely. We'll do that again. Inhale, flip the arms to vertical. Exhale, find the inner core and reach back. Stable pelvis, stable lower back. Inhale, arms float up. And exhale, lower the arms and relax the work of the inner core. One more time. Inhale, arms float to vertical. Exhale, find the inner core to stabilize the pelvis and lower back. Reach back. And inhale, bring the arms to the ceiling. And then relax your arms down to your sides. And soften into gravity. Release. And now we'll work with the obliques. Bring the hands behind the head, interlace the fingers, open the elbows out wide. Perhaps you feel a gentle stretch at the front of the armpits. Take a full inhale and notice how your ribs flare wide. And then on your exhale, unflare your front ribs. Concentrate on the front ribs drawing together, reaching down on a diagonal towards the opposite back pocket. Your elbows stay down on the floor or towards the floor. And inhale, relax. Let the ribs flare. This time, notice what's happening in the back ribs. They're pulling up away from the mat. So on your exhale, we're going to imprint the back ribs down into the mat. Maintain your neutral lower back curve. Imprint those back ribs. Inhale, let the ribs flare. And exhale, unflare the front ribs. Feel that diagonal reach down towards the opposite back pocket. And inhale, let the ribs flare. Noticing the back ribs, and exhale, imprint the back ribs down towards the mat. Keep your neutral lower back curve. And again, inhale, feel the ribs flare. And exhale, unflare the front ribs and feel that diagonal pull to the opposite back pocket. And inhale, let the ribs flare. And exhale, imprint the back ribs. And then add the knitting of the front ribs so you have all of the obliques engaged. And take a breath like that. It's going to change the quality of your breath. Let's stay with the obliques. And then relax that. We're going to keep the hands behind the head. Include the inner core and go into some head lifts. Inhale, prepare for the inner core. Exhale, pelvic floor, transversus abdominis. Reach the ribs onto the opposite back pockets. Imprint the back ribs and then keep your neutral lower back and do a little head lift. And lower back down. Again, exhale and lift, maintaining your neutral spine. And lower back down. One more time. Exhale, head lift. And lower back down. And then let it all relax. Open those elbows out wide. We're going to go into the crazy fish. We're going to keep the elbows out wide. The sternum stays open and directly directed towards the ceiling. Take an inhale to prepare for the inner core first. Exhale, find your inner core, then knit and imprint your ribs. Go into a little head lift and keep the head up and maintain your core as you inhale. And then we're going to side bend. Exhale the left elbow towards the left waist. Inhale to the center. And exhale the right elbow towards the right waist. And inhale to the center. Keep the whole front of the body facing the ceiling. Exhale, side bend left. And inhale, center. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale to the center. One more each way. Exhale as you side bend. Inhale to the center and release the head. Keep the arms straight up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders down and make some small circles with your arms. Femoral head's dropping down into the shoulder joints, and reverse the circles. And then we're going to bring the hands down so that the thumbs are resting on the low ribs and the finger are on the hip point. We're going to go to alternate leg lifts, stabilizing the ribs and the pelvis, and using your fingers to feel that that's actually happening. Inhale, prepare for the inner core first. Exhale, find the pelvic floor and the belt of the transversus, then knit your ribs down to the opposite back pockets. Imprint the back ribs. There your rib cage is set, pelvis is stabilized, and then we're going to raise the right foot up and lower it back down. Be sure that the hip joint stays steady side to side, the ribs stay knitting and imprinting, and take the left foot up and lower back down. Stabilizing that pelvis, maintaining your neutral lower back curve, return to the right foot, and anchor as you lower down, and then to the left. Now we're engaging the abdominals, but that doesn't mean we can't breathe. The breath might be a little higher in your chest than usual, but please continue to breathe. And lower down, and lift the left, and lower down. Now we're going to add the extension of the leg. Release the core work for a moment. As you do that, there's going to be a postural shift. You're going to feel your ribs move. And again, we're preparing for the inner core first with an inhale. Exhale, find the pelvic floor and the belt. Now knit and imprint the ribs. Continue to have your fingers and your thumbs monitoring. As you inhale, stay stable and lift the right foot up. As you exhale, flex your foot and extend the leg out on a 45-degree angle. Maintain your neutral spine and your knitting ribs. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, anchoring as you lower down. You're prepared for the second side. Inhale, bring the left foot up. Staying stable in the ribs and the pelvis. Exhale, flex your foot, extend the heel out. Inhale, bend the knee. And anchor as you lower down. Inhale, back to the right side. And exhale, flex, extend. 45 degrees, so just halfway between the ceiling and the floor. Inhale, anchor, and exhale, lower down. And over to the left side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, flex, extend. Inhale, bend the knee and re-anchor. Exhale, lower down. We'll do it one more time on each leg. Inhale to lift. Exhale, flex, extend. Inhale to bend. Anchor and exhale, lower down. And over to the left side. And exhale, reach out through the heel. Inhale, bend the knee. And anchor to lower down. Now, as you release the abdominals, hopefully your pelvis is going to stay still. Observe that, please. And then relax into gravity. Then we're going to bring the arms back down to the sides. And make a fist with the thumbs sticking out. Keeping the arms very straight. Take your arms straight up into vertical. So just observe, we want straight elbows, straight wrists. We're going to engage the inner core, knit and imprint, and then keep the arms completely straight. Keep those back ribs down and reach your hands back towards the floor behind you. Keep the back ribs down. That's more important than touching the floor. Notice if your thumbs get to the floor. If they do, I want you to push the, actually even if they don't, press the thumbs in the direction of the floor and draw your shoulder blades down towards your back pockets. And then take the arms up towards the ceiling. Keep them nice and straight and lower the arms down. If your thumbs did not touch the floor, keep them sticking out. If they touch the floor, hold the thumb inside the fist. Again, arms straight. Come up to the ceiling so your thumb might be tucked in or in the hitchhike position. Engage the inner core, knit and imprint, and reach back with perfectly straight arms. Keep imprinting. Start to feel your shoulders pulling down the back as you move the arms back behind you. Keep those back ribs down. Keep the arms straight even if they don't touch the floor. And maintain your neutral pelvis. And then float the arms up towards the ceiling. And lower the arms down to the floor at your sides. Now, if you didn't touch the floor with the fist, maintain the fist, or maybe you still have your hitchhiking thumbs. If you touch the floor, we're going to flatten the hands out so the palms are touching the mat. And again, keep the arms perfectly straight no matter what position the hands are in. Take the arms straight up to vertical. Engage the inner core, knit and imprint, keep the arms straight. Watch out if you have your fingers extended, don't bend at the wrist. Don't try to get anywhere. Make the effort to keep the arms straight. Pull those shoulder blades down the back, imprint the back ribs. Take a moment, wherever you are, breathe into that stretch. And then float the arms up to the ceiling. And relax with the arms in vertical. Then we're going to stretch the legs straight out and reach the arms back with a relaxed inner core, relaxed obliques. So we get a big long stretch. You'll feel your back pulling away from the mat a little bit. And here we're going to engage the inner core, knit and imprint, and then engage the final piece of the abdominal system, tilting the pelvis. There's your rectus abdominis coming into play, flattening out the back, and then relax that. And we're going to flex the feet back and then reach out through the ball of the foot, point the toes, pull the toes back, and then flex the feet back. Reach out through the ball of the foot like you're standing in a high heel shoe. Point the toes out, pull the toes back separately, and then flex the feet back. One more time. Reach out through the ball of the foot, point the toes, flex the toes back, and pull back with the ankle, and then relax the feet. Once again, we're going to engage the inner core, knit and imprint the ribs, and tilt the pelvis so the lower back reaches towards the floor, flattening out the spine towards the mat. You may not get all the way down, but move in that direction. Try to keep your arms down, and then relax. And we'll do a side bend, keeping the whole front of the body facing the ceiling. Walk the feet to the left. Side bend the upper body to the left. Reach your right hip and your right ribs down to the mat. Right ankle goes over the left. Grab a hold of your right wrist. And breathe here. Keep reaching the right hip down, the right ribs down, right back ribs down, right shoulder down. Big stretch on the right side. And then walk back into the center, stretch long, and maintaining the back of the body evenly against the floor. Walk the feet a little to the right, side bend the upper body to the right, cross your left ankle over your right and hold your left wrist. And work your left hip and your left back ribs down towards the floor. Breathe into the stretch of the left side. And return to the center. Stretch long from your fingers to your toes. And then as you exhale, engage the inner core, knit and imprint the ribs and tilt the pelvis. Flattening the lower back down towards the mat, keeping the back of the neck long, reaching long through the arm, and make sure those back ribs are down. And then relax that effort. Float the arms up to the ceiling. And bend the knees back into constructive rest pose. Then relax the arms down at the sides. Take a moment, releasing into the pull of gravity. And now we'll take the 100. Engage the inner core, knit and imprint. We're going to keep neutral spine. Lift the right foot up and the left foot up. We'll bring the hands to the sides, turn the palms down. Engaging the inner core again as we press the palms down, knit the ribs, lift the head. Extend the legs out. Externally rotate so that the heels are touching each other. And exhale for 5 pulses. And inhale for 5 pulses of the arms. Exhale for 5. And inhale, keep the chin into the chest. Exhale for 5 pulses. And inhale. Drop the shoulders down. And inhale. Flatten the belly out towards the waist. Inhale, oblique smile. Exhale for 5. Chin stays into the chest. If your neck gets tired, place a blanket behind your head. Inhale. And gently press the back of the head down into the mat if you lower it down. One more set. And then we'll bend the knees. One hand on each knee, lower the head. Turn the head from side to side slowly. And then some hip circles. Drop the knees out wide. Relax the inner thighs, the front thighs. Stir your thigh bones around your hip sockets. And reverse. And then pull both knees in towards the chest. Lengthen the back of the neck. And then let's stretch the left leg out onto the floor, bringing the right knee into the breastbone. Then keeping the whole back of the body on the floor as it is now, bring your right knee to your right armpit. In other words, don't let the pelvis tilt over to the right. Keep the left hip down, just pull the knee to the armpit. You can place your left hand on your left hip or your left thigh and even press down a little bit to make sure that you have that sense of the left hip staying dropped down on the mat so that you're even across the back of the sacrum. Inner thigh stretch for the right side. And now we're going to pull that right knee up towards the left shoulder. Use your left hand on your right knee. Relax the right arm down. Again, this is not a spinal twist, so we want to keep the right hip down and just pull up on a diagonal towards the left shoulder. Gentle stretch for the outer hip capsule. Maybe you're feeling a stretch in your lower back too. And then relax that stretch so that your knee comes back into the center. And center the pelvis. Engage your inner core. Reach your tailbone down to the floor. Extend the right leg up to the ceiling and support the back of the right leg. Take a moment to check that you're even across the back of the pelvis. Then place your thumbs on your lower ribs, your fingers on your hip points, and secure that neutral pelvis. We're going to circle the leg 8 times here. Not too big. If you feel any rocking in the pelvis, make it smaller. We need the inner core working, the ribs knitting and imprinting. Pelvis actually should be still, so slow those circles down, make them smaller if you feel any movement. After 8 one way, reset your inner core and your ribs and circle 8 the other. We want the shoulders and neck relaxed. Put a lot of concentrated effort around the pelvis and keep those ribs in place. After 8 in the second direction, bend the right knee. Use your left hand on your right knee to pull into a spinal twist. You can pull the knee all the way over towards the floor on the left. Relax the right shoulder. Turn the head to the right and breathe into the twist. And then we'll return to the back and bring both knees into the chest. Gently stretch the lower back, the back of the neck. Then we'll extend the right leg out onto the floor and draw the left knee towards the breastbone. left hand down, or sorry, your right hand onto your right hip or your right thigh. Keep the back of the pelvis even and pull your left knee towards your left armpit. Make sure you keep your right hip down and your right back ribs down. Breastbone, sternum, belly button, pubic bone all still pointing straight up towards the ceiling as you stretch the left inner thigh. And then we'll switch, bringing the right hand to the left knee and pull your right knee up and over towards, your left knee up and over towards your right shoulder, keeping the back of the pelvis down, gentle stretch for the outside of the left leg and hip. And relax that stretch. Bring the leg back into alignment with the hip. Find your neutral spine. Engage your core muscles around your neutral. Stretch the left leg up. And find your inner core. Knit and imprint the ribs. Place the thumbs on the low ribs. The fingers on the pelvis. 8 circles. Slow and small. If you feel rocking, make them smaller and slower. After 8 one way, reset and do 8 the other. And then we bend the knee. Use the right hand to pull into a gentle spinal twist. Pulling over as far to the right as you feel good. Relaxing the left arm out. And turning and looking out over your left fingertips. Breathe into that twist, finding space in your left side. And return onto the back and bring the knees to the chest. Gently stretch if you like. You can rock back and forth on the sacrum or turn the head from side to side. Do what you need to do to be comfortable. And then return to constructive rest for a moment. Then we're going to get a small ball or a folded towel between the knees. With the arms relaxed wide, palms up, feel your neutral spine. Engage the inner core muscles. Knit and imprint the ribs. Keep your neutral spine as you squeeze into the ball. And then relax that squeeze. Maintain the abdominal work and squeeze again. And then relax. And squeeze. Maintain the abdominals. Relax the squeeze. Once again, squeeze. And relax the squeeze. And then relax the core work. Now we'll do the same thing with a flattened back. Engage the inner core, knit and imprint. Tilt the pelvis. And then squeeze on the ball. And then maintain all that abdominal work as you squeeze and unsqueeze. Keeping the lower back flattened, but keeping the awareness of your belt drawing around, your ribs knitting and imprinting. On this final one, maintain your squeeze. If you have something behind your head, take it out now. I'm going to do a pelvic lift. Coming from this pelvic tilted position. So in the pelvic tilted position, your tailbone is tucked up between your legs and your lower back is flattened. And then we're going to press into the feet. Keep the squeeze on the ball and raise the hips up. Feel the pubic bone continuing to pull towards the navel and roll down, imprinting the back ribs as you go, one vertebra at a time. Keep drawing the pubic bone into the navel so you roll down through the lower back. We're maintaining that squeeze on the ball, coming to the tilted pelvis, and then releasing to a neutral spine and relaxing the squeeze on the ball. Again, inner core first. Knit and imprint, squeeze the ball, then tilt the pelvis. And continue to squeeze into the ball as you lift your hips up. Keep drawing the pubic bone towards the navel and lower down. Imprinting, scooping the belly in, one vertebra at a time. Come to the flattened back so your pelvis is still tilted. You're still squeezing on the ball. And then release the tailbone down, relax the squeeze, and release the core work. One more time like that. Engage the inner core, knit and imprint the ribs, tilt the pelvis, squeeze the ball, and press into the feet to lift the hips. And roll it back down. Keep drawing the pubic bone towards the navel. Keep squeezing on that ball. Feel that place where you have your pelvis tilted. And then release to a neutral. Relax the squeeze. Relax the core work. Now we're going to reset the inner core, knit and imprint. And you may or may not be able to do this, but at least do the beginning part of it. Take a head lift and see if you can maintain your neutral spine as you reach up and grab a hold of the ball. If you need to do some other maneuver, go ahead and do that. So you're going to hold the ball or your towel in your hands above your breastbone. And then straighten one leg at a time out onto the mat. We're preparing for the roll-ups. Engage the inner core, knit and imprint. Scoop the belly in and reach your arms back towards the wall behind you. Let your whole spine be flattening down in towards the floor. And then on an inhale, roll yourself up. Pick up your breastbone following the ball or the towel. And then lean forward. Relax the neck and shoulders and stretch the backs of the legs, the lower back, soften in the neck. Then sit tall, align the ball and the breastbone, engage the low core, feel your ribs knitting around, scoop the belly in, and roll yourself down. You can keep the ball in line with the breastbone the whole time, one vertebra at a time, smooth descent, and reach back, release the work in the core, take a big stretch, then reset the core, tilting the pelvis, knitting and imprinting, scooping the belly button in. Inhale to roll up. Keeping the ball in line with the breastbone, and then leaning forward. As you lean forward, relax the upper back. Try not to over hump the upper back, more thinking of drawing the breastbone towards the knees without looking at your toes. You want to tuck your chin down, draw the breastbone forward, lengthening through the spine and relaxing through the neck and shoulders. And then sit tall. Hold the ball in line with the breastbone to soften the shoulders. Scoop in the belly. Take it one vertebra at a time, nice and slow, keeping your shoulders dropped and relaxed. Then reach back. Big long stretch. And then reset the inner core. Knit and imprint, scoop the belly, tuck your tail between your legs to flatten your lower back, and inhale, roll up. All of the details from before, and then add the detail of keeping the legs parallel. If you haven't done that yet, flex the feet back. Make sure you're reaching the breastbone forward, softening the shoulders, keeping the gaze down, drawing the breastbone away from the navel, the crown of the head towards the toes. Shoulders relaxed. Let your elbows be bent. And once again, sit tall. Hold the ball in line with the breastbone. Find your low core work, the scooping of the belly. Knitting the ribs. Roll down with the ball staying in line with the breastbone, one vertebra at a time. Then reach back and take a big long stretch. And then let go of the ball and bring your knees into your chest and rock them side to side. Okay, we're going to turn to the stomach. Start with the hands underneath the forehead. Legs comfortably wide. Let the whole front of the body relax down into the floor for a moment. Relax the breath. And then as you exhale, engage your inner core. And then knit your ribs together in the front. Press your forearms down into the floor. Float your chest and head up. We're keeping the arms down. Press the elbows down to the floor. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears and your breastbone forward away from your navel. And then release. Place the forehead back down on the hands. Let all of that relax. Engage the inner core again. Knit the ribs. Press down into the forearms as you raise the chest and the head up. Keep the gaze down. Shoulder blades flowing to the back pockets. Sternum moving forward. Make sure you're keeping your belt nice and snug around your low waist. And then relax. Forehead down. Release everything. Again, inner core. Glide the ribs as you press the arms down. Lifting the chest and head, drawing the shoulders down the back, tilting the chin down, breastbone forward, and then relax. Okay, forehead down to the floor, legs together, arms at your sides with the palms up. We're going to see if we can keep the legs together as we lift everything up. Engage the inner core, knit the ribs. And then exhale, lift everything up. Keep the legs together. Lift the arms high and squeeze the shoulder blades. Keep the back of the neck long and then lower down. Let everything relax. Set it up again. Inner core, knit the ribs and exhale to lift. Shoulders down the back and squeezing the shoulder blades like someone's standing behind you and pulling your hands up long. Try to keep the wrists straight. Lift the thighs up off of the floor and lengthen the back of the neck. And roll lower back down. Relax completely. One more time. Inner core. Glide the ribs and lift with your exhale. You can breathe. We're staying a little bit, but the exhale is the stabilizing force, so we're going to do the movements on the exhale. Lifting the chest and the thighs. Think of your breastbone moving away from your navel. Your thighs lifting a little bit off the floor. Arms lifting up and neck, squeezing the shoulder blades. And then lower down. Place your hands under your forehead and relax a moment. Notice the release of the legs and buttocks here, front thighs. And have the legs comfortably wide. Extend the arms way out in front of you and place the forehead down on the floor. Feel the length along the front of the body. And consciously relax the front thighs, the back thighs, the buttocks. Engage your inner core without squeezing the buttocks. Glide your front ribs together. Keep your hands down on the floor and raise your chest and head. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Keep the lower body relaxed. The only thing that you're using below your waist is the pelvic floor and the transverses. Legs are relaxed. Opening the chest. Keeping your chin tilted down. And then relax back down onto the floor. Release. If your legs needed to let go, of course that means they engaged, so soften them. And reset the inner core without squeezing the buttocks, glide the ribs. Gently press down through the palms. Keep your elbows down on the floor as you raise the chest and head, drawing the shoulders down to the back pockets. Passive with the big muscles in the legs and buttocks. And then relax and release completely. And one more time. Inner core first, glide the ribs in. Keep the legs and buttocks soft, raise the chest and head. Draw the breastbone forward, the shoulders down the back. And then relax, forehead down. And we'll move back into a child's pose. Bring your hips to your heels. Stretch the back out. Come to lie on the left side. Stretch out long on your left side. Top hand on the top waist, or fingertips on the mat in front of you. Relax the neck and shoulders. Tilt your right hip a little forward. Engage the inner core. Lift your organs up off of the floor. Lift both legs up, and we're going to do sets of 8. Lifting and lowering the top leg 8 times. And then lowering and lifting the bottom leg 8 times. Keep the neck and shoulders relaxed, scissoring 8 times forward and back. You can feel the relationship of the ribs and the hips. Keep that constant. And to the center, 8 circles with the top leg. Bottom leg can go down to the floor if you like. Keep your pelvis and ribs steady. Reverse for 8. Then squeeze the inner thighs together, externally rotate, and up and down, big scissors for 8. In a turned out position. Externally rotating both legs. And to the center, return to parallel and flex the feet back, then squeeze the toes. Point the feet, fan the toes, flex the feet back. Squeeze, point, fan, flex, squeeze, point, fan, flex. Keep your toes open and reach out, then squeeze the toes and flex back. Open, reach, squeeze, and pull back one more time. And then relax the legs down. Let the core work soften. Re-engage the inner core, including the organ lift, and bend the knees so that the knees are directly under the head. Nice straight line down the front of the body, and 8 rotations of the right leg in the socket. Keeping the pelvis still. Relax. Then we're going to come all the way to 90-degree hip flexion. Knees and feet at the front of the mat. Rock that right hip forward. Engage the inner core, but keep soft around your waist. And do 8 rotations here. Keep the right hip slightly forward and the pelvis still. Thinking of your belt wrapping around the hips. Relax completely. And open the front of the hips to 45 degrees. Keeping the waist soft. Find your inner core. Keep the right hip tilted forward and rotate the leg out again. 8 times in the socket. Pelvis is steady. And relax. And we'll work the arm, put the right elbow on the right waist. Gentle fist with the right hand. And roll the arm out in the socket. We'll do 8 here. And relax. Then displace the bottom knee a little closer to the head and use your right fingertips to push up into a mermaid sit. Sitting tall here. Reaching the right sit bones down towards the floor. You're not going to touch, but you're going to reach them in that direction. Place your right hand on your right foot and inhale, reach the left arm up and we'll side bend, stretching the left side open. The straighter you keep your arm, the more stretch you'll get in your side and armpit. Lower that left hand down. We're going to slide onto the forearm of the left arm and reach your right arm up and over again. Keep the arm straight. And now think of your right sit bone dropping towards the mat as you stretch long through your right side, all the way out to the right fingertips. And then come up tall again, right hand to right foot, and side bend towards the right, stretching the left side. And lower the arm, down onto the left forearm, reach long through the right side, drop your right hip, and stretch through the fingertips of the right side. Keep your chest open so you're spiraling your breastbone towards the ceiling. And again, sit tall, right hand on right foot, and side bend to the right. And one more stretch of the right side. Left forearm down and lengthen through the whole right side. Drop the right hip down, open the breastbone towards the ceiling. And sit tall. Again, reach down through your right sit bone, lengthen up through the center of the head, and then gather your inner core and spiral, bringing the right hand to the left knee, left fingertips to the floor behind you. Turn and look all the way over your left shoulder as far as you can go. Include your eyes with that motion. That'll give you a little bit more movement in the neck. And then continue to turn your chest to the left, but turn your head the opposite way and look out over your right shoulder. Again, include your eyes in that motion. And then bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Feel your feel your breastbone lift up and open. And then bring the head up tall into the center. And we'll take a little counter stretch. Turn around all the way to the right, looking over the right shoulder. And then come to the center. And we're going to sit with the knees bent. Take the arms out in front, soften the shoulders. Scoop the belly and roll down so you feel your sacrum on the mat. And pause and relax the shoulders. Feel the connection between the pubic bone and the belly button. Roll down a little farther so you feel your lower back ribs on the mat, and pause there. And then release all the way down. Stretch the arms and the legs, reach long. And then we'll come to lie on the right side. Stretched out long on the right side. Top hand on the top waist or fingertips on the mat in front of you. Make sure that the neck and shoulders are relaxed. Engage the inner core. Lift your organs up off of the mat and then raise both legs up and take 8 repetitions, lifting the top leg up and down 8 times. And then take the bottom leg down and up 8 times. And then scissor 8 times. Feel your hips and your ribs. Make sure they're staying still in relationship to each other. Come to the center and circle the top leg 8 times each way. Bottom leg down if you like. Keep that pelvis steady. Think of your organ lift, that will help. Then we squeeze the inner thighs together. Keep your pelvis steady as you externally rotate both legs. 8 scissors in external rotation. And to the center in parallel where we flex the feet back. Squeeze the toes, point the feet, fan the toes and flex back. Squeeze, point, fan, flex, squeeze, point, fan, flex. Keep the toes open and reach out. Squeeze the toes and pull back. Open the toes and reach. Squeeze and pull back one more time. And then rest the legs down. Soften completely. Re-engage your core, your organ lift included now, and bend the knees so that your feet are behind you, and roll the leg out in the socket 8 times. Keep that belt snug across your hips. When you're done with those, soften and move to a 90-degree hip flexion. Knees and feet at the front of your mat. Dropping the left hip forward. Soften around the waist, but gather your belt around your hips. And roll the left leg out in the socket 8 times. Keeping the pelvis still, left hip point forward. Then relax completely. And open out the angle a little bit so that the knees are at the front of the mat, the feet are underneath you. Engage the inner core. Just rely on your belt and your pelvic floor and roll the left leg out in the socket with a steady pelvis. 8 times. And relax. And then we bring the left elbow to the left waist and roll the arm out in the socket 8 times. Keep the elbow really snug onto the waist. And relax. And we'll displace the right knee a little closer to the head and push up into the mermaid. Tall through the center line, dropping the left sit bone down, bring your left hand to your left foot and reach up with the right arm and stretch over to the left side. And then reach down with the right forearm, reach your left hip point towards the floor, stretch your left arm up and over, keep the arm straight, lengthen through your left side. Keep turning the breastbone slightly towards the ceiling. And sit up. Left hand to the left foot and side bend towards the left. Keep your arm as straight as you can. Chest open. And again, right forearm down. Reach your left hip down and stretch long through your left arm. Straight arm, open chest. And sit up one more time like that. Left hand to the left foot. Side bend towards your left side, stretching the right. And then right forearm down. And reach long through the left side. Dropping your left sit bone down. Opening the left side. Straight arm, straight fingertips. And then sit tall. Keep dropping the left sit bone down, lengthening up through the center line. Turn around towards the right. Left hand to the right knee and look over your right shoulder. Then continue to turn the breastbone in this direction while you look over your left shoulder. Eyes looking as far behind you as they can. Then tilt your left ear toward your left shoulder. Breastbone open. Then lift the head and counter stretch, turning all the way to the left and looking out over your left shoulder. And then to the center. Again, sit with the knees bent, feet on the floor, float your arms out in front of you. Scoop the low belly in and roll back until you're resting on your sacrum, and then pause. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And then roll back until you're resting on your lower ribs. Keep the chin into the chest, the shoulders relaxed. And then release all the way down and stretch long. Arms float up, bend the knees. And a brief run through the abdominal series. I'm not going to take any breaks. Of course, if you need to hug your knees or lift your hips up, you can do that as necessary. Maintaining your neutral spine, find your inner core, knit and imprint. Lift one foot up and then the other. And we're going to bring both hands to one leg and lift the head. Extend the other leg out and then switch. Single leg stretch. Outside hand to ankle, inside hand to knee, chin into the chest. Flattening the belly down without flattening the lower back. Keep those back ribs imprinted and notice them as we go into this double leg stretch. Exhale, reach the arms and the legs out. Inhale, bend the knees and circle the arms around to meet them. Exhale, move out with a neutral spine, back ribs imprinted, chin into the chest. Exhale it away from the center. Inhale back in, last one. Keep your legs straight, take one up and one down, and go into the single straight leg stretch. Pulling the up leg in towards you, holding at the back of the thigh or the back of the calf, chin into chest, drop the shoulders. And take both legs straight up, support your head, reconnect with your neutral lower back, knit and imprint, and lower the legs down without losing your neutral spine or your imprinting. Both legs come back up, and again lower, and lift, and lower, and lift. Last one. Then we bend the knees and begin to bicycle the legs, and take the crisscross, reaching on the diagonal, armpit up and over towards the opposite knee. And then we'll pause and put the head down, hug the knees in, relax the neck, slowly turn your head from one side to the other. And then rock on the sacrum. And lower the feet down to the floor. Return to your constructive rest pose. And this is where we'll end. I hope you have a wonderful day. I want to remind you, if you're out gardening, try to do tasks with both sides. If you're digging, switch up which hand you're using, which leg you're using. And don't stick at any one task for too long. You know, do it for a little while and then go do another task. You could carry your empty your bucket, or just go find something else to do so that the body doesn't have to do the same activity for too long and then return to it. So be aware of both trying to work as symmetrically as you can and varying the tasks often. Okay, enjoy, take care, bye-bye.